Good morning. It is 5 a.m. Wednesday here in Manila. I'm Raine Musngi with your first look at the news. The Philippines brings its territorial dispute with China before an international court. Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert De Rosario hopes that bringing the case for arbitration will finally provide what he calls durable solution to the territorial problem. Former U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines John Negroponte calls the USS Guardian's grounding at the Tubataha Reef an embarrassment. While he recognized that the incident was an accident, he says the leader of the vessel had a poor excuse for what happened. Well, Philippine authorities are set to notify the United States Navy about violations its grounded ship has committed at the Tubataha Reef. It may also take several more days before the ship is removed from the area. 2 of the 6 Filipinos killed in the Algeria hostage crisis have been identified, but 4 others remain missing. Here at home, the mayor of Maconacon town, Isabela, is gunned down outside Park Villa Partel along Examiner Street in Quezon City Tuesday. Witnesses say 3 or 4 assailants shot Mayor Erlinda Domingo as she was about to board her vehicle. One shooter is in the custody of the police. Her bodyguard, Bernard Plazos, was wounded in the incident. Domingo is a re-electionist under the Nationalist People's Coalition. The former mayor of Maconacon, Francisco Talosig, was also killed in 2009. The Commission on Elections will revise its rule on the media guesting of candidates during the campaign period. COMELEC Chairman Sixto Brillantes says the poll body will issue a clarificatory resolution which will only require TV and radio stations to inform them about the guestings. Earlier, the COMELEC said stations should first get permission from the poll body before candidates can appear on their shows. Meantime, politicians and news organizations signed a covenant against media corruption. It was an initiative against the use of news organizations for the advantage of some candidates. It was held during the Media Nation gathering. Taking a look at the U.S. markets now, stocks mostly edged up Tuesday after ending last week at 5-year highs, but gains were limited as investors showed caution with the earnings season picking up speed. In Europe, shares dipped Tuesday after a choppy session as the prospect of a price war in the French telecom sector outweighed signs of economic improvement in Germany. Most Asian stocks were down as Japan disappointed, deciding to delay until 2014 the stimulus action investors were betting they would launch this year. The yen strengthened, pulling down Japanese exporters, and the Nikkei fell 1/3%. Gains were led by Korea, which was fueled by Samsung as investors bet on weaker competition from Japanese tech exporters, hobbled by the strong yen. Business leaders and heads of state have arrived in the Swiss resort town of Davos for the World Economic Forum. Europe managed to keep the Eurozone intact in 2012, and the U.S. narrowly avoided the fiscal cliff. But the delegates attending the annual meeting will be discussing how to restore trust and move beyond the crisis. Senators may have rejected Juan Ponce Enrile's offer to resign as Senate President, but their fight over funds still continues. That's despite many bills still pending passage in the last 3 weeks of session. The National Economic and Development Authority expects the Philippine economy to have grown 6.5% last year. NEDA Chief Arsenio Balisacan says this forecast is higher than the government's original target of 5 to 6%. He sees the growth and momentum to be sustained this year, backed by infrastructure spending. Analysts polled by Reuters this week expect Manila's economy to have grown 6.4%. And that was your first look at the top stories this Wednesday, the 23rd of January 2013. I'm Raine Musngi. Thank you for staying ahead with ANC.